Eala bigger than Sabalenka, Gauff? Ex-ATP stars say yes. Eala's growing impact on women's tennis is no longer being measured solely by rankings, as former ATP players openly point to the Filipina star as one of the sport's strongest crowd magnets today. Fresh from her quarterfinal run at the WTA 1000 Dubai Tennis Championships, Eala has consistently drawn packed stands across tournaments in Australia and the Middle East, prompting discussions among former pros about her unprecedented pull. On the Nothing Major podcast, former world number 11 Sam Querrey raised the question directly, wondering if Eala's popularity has already eclipsed that of the sport's biggest names. Is Eala the biggest draw in women's tennis right now? Is she bigger than Aryna Sabalenka? Is she bigger than Coco Gauff? Querrey asked. Former world number 21 Steve Johnson answered without hesitation, citing the scenes he has witnessed courtside. Yes. Dude, it's crazy. Every court Australia, Dubai standing room only. It's insane, Johnson said. According to former world number 8 John Isner, Eala's rise is amplified by the sheer size and passion of the global Filipino fanbase, a market he believes many in tennis previously underestimated. It's everywhere. It's a huge market. I think a lot of people underestimated how big that market is, Isner said. Despite not yet breaking into the top 10, tournament organizers have reportedly been compelled to schedule Eala on center courts due to overwhelming demand. She's like an absolute rock star, Querrey added. Even though she's not in the top 10, she has to play on center court. As Eala heads into the North American swing at Indian Wells and the Miami Open, the conversation has shifted. It is no longer just about how high she can climb in the rankings, but how far her growing star power can carry her as one of the most compelling draws in global women's tennis. JNV. Eala, the rising rock star of tennis, bigger than Gauff and Sabalenka? On the pristine courts of world tennis, under the glare of spotlights and camera flashes, the sport's biggest icons chase history. Names like Gauff and Sabalenka are already etched in headlines, Grand Slam finales, and year-end awards. Yet, rising from the rapidly energizing world tennis scene is Eala, a 20-year-old Filipino lefty whose rise is not just about rankings and results, it's about momentum, culture, identity, and global fan love. This narrative isn't simply about statistics or wins. It's about an emerging phenomenon that's capturing imagination across continents, one that some former top pros say might already see Eala bigger in terms of attraction and popularity than some of the sport's biggest names. A star beyond the scoreboard. At this point in early 2026, Eala sits outside the top 30. A remarkable achievement for any player and historic for a Filipino athlete, but a far cry from being ranked above Gauff or Sabalenka, who have been staple figures at the very pinnacle of women's tennis for years. Rankings, however, are only part of the picture. What defines her rising star isn't just numbers. She's consistently packing stadiums at WTA events, from the Australian Open to the Middle Eastern swing, where tickets sell out and fans stand in tight crowds just to watch her warm up. She has triggered a wave of fandom in the Philippines and across Southeast Asia, a region long underrepresented at the elite level of professional tennis. Major tournament organizers, broadcasters, and sponsors are taking note, referencing her influence and drawing power the way they might for more established stars. This isn't just success. It's a movement. What former players are saying. During a recent episode of the Nothing Major podcast, former ATP pros, including names like Steve Johnson and John Isner, were asked a provocative question. Is Eala the biggest draw in women's tennis right now? Bigger than Sabalenka? Bigger than Coco? Their response wasn't hesitation. It was affirmation. Johnson said, yes, emphatically, drawing parallels with rising sensations on the men's side who have drawn attention beyond pure results. He pointed out how Eala's matches are filled to capacity, spectators queuing beyond available seating, and how international crowds are buzzing whenever her name appears on the order of play. Isner added perspective on market potential, especially with the Philippines' massive and passionate population, and how Eala's star power might be tapping into audiences that tennis has long struggled to engage. Breaking the mold. What does bigger mean? But here's where we must draw an important distinction. Being bigger in popularity doesn't automatically mean being the #1 ranked player, winning more Grand Slams, or being the statistical best in the world yet. It means cultural impact, fan engagement, media attention, and brand value. The ways in which a player transcends the sport's traditional boundaries and resonates with audiences at a massive scale. And in those terms, Eala is already being described as a rock star. Imagine this. Fans lining up early, not just to watch a match, but to experience a moment. Social media hashtags trending globally whenever she plays. Enthusiasts from regions previously underrepresented in tennis turning up in huge numbers. Analysts comparing her influence to that of multiple established tour stars. This is the kind of cultural phenomenon that often precedes, and sometimes exceeds, on-court success. From Manila to the world stage, Eala's rise was gradual but transformative. She first entered the global radar with her semi-final run at the Miami Open, a rare achievement for someone not yet in the top tier of rankings. Grand Slam breakthroughs and historic milestones, like becoming the first Filipino to win a main draw Grand Slam match, carved her place in tennis history, beyond just one country. Her Dubai run in 2026, climbing to her career-high ranking of #31, validated her progress with actual tour success. It's a story of resilience, breakthrough moments, and relentless pursuit, the kind of arc that fuels legends. A new narrative of representation. One of the most compelling aspects of Eala's ascent is the representative power she holds. Tennis has historically been dominated, in star power and audience, by players from Europe, North America, and select Asian nations like Japan. Eala's rise disrupts that narrative. Her success puts the Philippines on the global tennis map. Her fans aren't just local. The Filipino diaspora around the world adds an enormous base of support. Young players from Southeast Asia now see someone they can emulate, someone who proves that the world stage is accessible regardless of geography. This isn't just a tennis discussion. It's a cultural shift. The rivalry with Gauff and Sabalenka, context matters. Let's be clear. Statistically and in terms of major titles or tour leadership, both Gauff and Sabalenka remain among the elite of the modern women's game. They are consistent top 10 players with deep runs, titles, and ranking stability. Sabalenka, in particular, has held a year-long #1 ranking and is a force in Grand Slam contention. But here's why the comparison matters in a new way. Popularity versus ranking. Tennis spectators and media are increasingly valuing engagement metrics, how many people show up, tune in, follow, talk about a player. Market potential. Regions like Southeast Asia represent enormous growth for the sport. A figure like Eala lights that market in ways unmatched by any current star. Narrative impact. Sports thrive on